You don't have to spend 15 to 20K to get a nice Rolex. I'm gonna show you guys today 10 Rolexes, all under 10,000. So first up is a 39mm Rolex OP. Now this is gonna be the original OP. So all of the variations on this one in the 39mm case size are all gonna be in a similar price point. I don't know if you can see the coloration on the dial. It's gonna be almost like a purplish red. Rolex did a really good job. You're gonna have the red on the accents on the outer part over there, outside of the hours, reflecting obviously the seconds. It is gonna be engraved bezel, so it's gonna be a newer watch. You're gonna have a beautiful, smooth stainless steel casing on an Oyster bracelet, beautiful lugs. You're gonna have the crown over here. Now this is gonna be an OP, so there's gonna be no date on it, but it does wear big, it does wear nice. It is gonna be a 39mm. This one, we're gonna be pricing it at $8,000. It is box and papers, and let me try it on my wrist. So it looks good. Will go really nice under a dress shirt. You don't have to worry about it catching or anything like that. Now let's move it along. And make sure to stick to the end, because I've seen thousands and thousands of watches in all price different ranges. I sold them all, I've worn them all. I will show you which one I would pick if it was up to me. So second one up we have is the Rolex Explorer 2, AKA the polar dial, right? So there's two different variations of this. It's gonna come in the white dial and the black dial. Both are gonna have the orange GMT hand. You're gonna have your hour and your minute hand over there. This is gonna be the 216570. The major changes they made over the years of Rolex history is they did go from a 40mm to a 42mm. This is gonna be the 42mm case size, so it's gonna fit really well on the wrist. You're gonna have a beautiful stainless steel bezel. You're gonna have the date wheel. You're gonna have your crown right over here with the guards protecting it. You're gonna have a beautiful stainless steel case, Oyster bracelet. This one is gonna be no papers, but it will have the box. We'll give you an original appraisal and everything with it. And we are going to be doing this one at 10,500. So it is a little bit above. I apologize. I didn't mean to like trick you guys, but it was close enough. And it's such a good looking watch that I had to show it. At the end of the day, for 10.5, you're getting a 42mm, so it's gonna wear larger. It's not gonna be like a 36 or a 38mm. A lot of people don't realize that the Explorer 2 is actually a GMT. So it's gonna be a dual time zone. You're gonna have your regular hour hand right over here, and then you're gonna have your double time zone right over there. Date wheel, I mean, it's gonna be the newer version, so it's gonna be a solid bracelet. It's gonna have weight to it. I mean, honestly, at $10,500, it's a great piece. This is your money's worth right over here. And honestly, at 10.5, at the height of the market, this was going in the 13 to 13.5 range. So at 10.5, great price. So right over here, we're gonna have the Datejust 2 41mm. It's gonna be the 116-300. Now, just because I'm showing you the black stick does not mean that this is the only dial combo in that price range. This watch comes in multiple different color variations, and they're all in that price point. Now, they do have the newer version of this. It's gonna be the 126-300, but there's very slight changes to it. It's not gonna be major. Some say that it wears a little bit smaller, which I agree with. It's a little bit more sleeker, the newer one. I personally like the older one and the newer one the same. It wears really well. Now, this is gonna be a black stick dial. The hour markers are gonna be luminescent. It is gonna be a smooth bezel, so it's gonna be a stainless steel bezel. The fluted bezel is white gold, which will cost a little bit more. You're gonna have a beautiful, again, stainless steel case, Oyster bracelet. Now, you're gonna see a lot of similarities with Rolex, right, within their watches. They're gonna use the same bracelet, same casing. Now this one, we're gonna be pricing it at $9,000. It is a 2014. This is box and papers. So you can get a 41mm case size, box papers, under $10,000. Great piece if you wanna buy it as a gift, wedding gift. I mean, this watch you could dress up, dress down. It'll literally go with anything. Next up we got is a Rolex Yacht-Master 40mm case size. This is gonna be the previous version, right? They make the newer version, they make it with the blue dial, and they make it with the rhodium dial. This is gonna be the older dial, but it's still probably one of the prettiest ones that Rolex has ever made in their Yacht-Master family. Now, it's gonna be a platinum bezel. So always on Yacht-Masters, Rolex does make it with a platinum bezel. You're gonna have your red second hand over there. That's gonna be a really nice contrast with the gray dial. You're gonna have an Oyster bracelet. Now this is the 16622, so it is gonna be a hollow bracelet, so it's gonna be lighter than your newer version Rolexes. They do make the newer version of this as well with the solid bracelet, but for price point, this is great. Now this one, we're gonna be pricing it at $9,000. It is gonna sit at a 40mm case size. They do make the matching version in the ladies. So what they did on the Datejust 2s and the Yacht-Masters and a lot of different models is they made the middle bracelet shiny, right? You're gonna have matte on the outside, shiny on the inside, shiny on the inside, matte on the outside. Now for what they consider sports models, they do the whole bracelet matte, and the dressier watches, they do shiny on the inside, matte on the outside. So if you want Rolex's preference on what they think is dressy and casual, that's your telltale right there. This is going to be the Rolex Datejust 41 millimeter. Now this is going to have the fluted bezel. So this is going to be the 116334. It's going to be the same year as this one, right? So it's going to be the previous version. It's not the 126, it's the 116. Now this one we're going to be pricing it at $9,500. Now you're going to say, hey, I always thought white gold was a lot more expensive than the smooth bezel, which it is. But this one does not have papers. It does have the box. It'll come with an appraisal. This one has the box and papers. Normally on box and papers, always figure about $1,000 to $1,500 difference. So let's get back to this. 41 millimeter case size, beautiful fluted bezel. You're gonna have the beautiful Oyster bracelet. It's gonna be a solid buckle. It's gonna flip like that. It's not gonna have the flip lock covering it like the sports models sometimes do. Now this is a great watch for the money. I love this dial too. Rolex actually discontinued this dial. They don't make it on the newer ones. I don't know why, but I personally think it's one of the nicest ones. Check that out. So next up we got is the Rolex pre-ceramic 40 millimeter Submariner. So now a lot of people get confused when you say pre-ceramic, not pre-ceramic. So what they mean is the black part of the bezel. This is gonna be an insert inlay in there. So you can actually take it in and out. You can't physically take it in and out, but if it ever comes out, it's gonna be like an actual whole piece that comes out. Whereas the ceramic is a Cerachrome inlay that they put into it. So if it comes out, it's essentially gonna crack, right? It's not gonna be like a piece that's gonna come out. It is gonna have stainless steel surrounding it with the beveled over there. You're gonna have a beautiful stainless steel case. You're gonna have a full matte bracelet. It is older, so it's gonna be a hollow bracelet. This is gonna be a 1988. Like literally, it almost looks the same as the new one. It's in really good shape for the year of it. I mean, look at this thing, dude. 1988. You know what? Let me show you one of the newer ones so we can
get a better idea.
Check that out. This is gonna be a 2015. This is a 1988. So this one we're gonna be doing it at $9,200. I mean, look, the difference in pricing is this one's gonna be about $12,800. It's box papers. It is a 40 millimeter case size, so they make the 41, which is a little bit newer, but between the two 40 millimeters, not too big of a difference. Price difference is huge. I mean, it's like 30-35% difference. So we got the one Rolex that never physically took off. I don't know why, but you know what's funny is when this watch first got released, the green crystal, because Rolex never did anything like it, when it first dropped was going in that 18 to 19K range and then almost immediately dropped right away. But this one is gonna be the Rolex Milgauss. This is gonna be the black dials. You're gonna have your smooth bezel right here. You're gonna have your crown over there. Same as the other sports models, right? You're gonna have your stainless steel case. This is gonna be shiny on the inside, matte on the outside on the bracelet. This is not gonna have the glide lock, right? So this is gonna have your extension, so you can go about half a link when you click it in and you click it out, which is really in reality probably all you really need in sizing if you feel bloated or anything like that throughout the day. No papers, but it does have the box. We're gonna be pricing it at $9,200. So right here we have is the Rolex OP 41 millimeter. It is going to be reference number 124300. This is going to be box papers. It is a 2022. This is going to be a smooth bezel. You're going to have your stainless steel case. It is going to be thinner than your sports model, so you can see the difference between the two. This is probably almost double the thickness visually, whereas this is a lot thinner, so it's going to fit a lot more comfortable on the wrist. You are going to have a full matte bracelet, so it's not going to be shiny in the center or anything like that. You're going to have the buckle right over there, and for a brand new watch at a 41 millimeter case size and the blue dial at $9,400, Nate, you tell them.
It's worth it.
It's worth it, right? Mm-hmm. You would buy it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it just makes sense. Now, was this one no glide lock or anything like that, right?
This does not have the glide lock, no. But it does have the extension link. Look, Rolex does add that extension link for almost every single watch that they have, other than like the presidentials or the day dates. Other than that, they all have them. Actually, I should say, other than the day date, I don't think there's another Rolex that doesn't have the extension link. So on the day date, they can't really add it, but you never know. Rolex thinks of creative and fun ways to add everything. You never know what they'll do. So second to last, our ninth watch we're gonna have is the same as the other Explorer, but this is gonna be the black dial version. So it is gonna be the older reference. It's gonna be the 216570. It's gonna be your dual time, so it's gonna have the GMT hand right over here. Stainless steel bezel. You're gonna have the black inlay on the numbers for your military time. You're gonna have the Oyster all matte bracelet. This is gonna be the flip lock. You're gonna flip it over there and then open it. It's gonna have your extension link right over there. It is gonna sit at a 42 millimeter case size. We're gonna be doing this one at $9,200. It does not have papers, but it does have the box. I wanna show you guys the difference of the 40 millimeter and the 42 millimeter. So it's not gonna be too big of a difference. The reason why is even though this is a 2 millimeter bigger, the way that they made the bezel on the Submariner and the way they made the lugs flare out. It does wear a little bit larger, so between the two, you're not gonna see too big of a difference, but this is a 42 millimeter and this is a 40 millimeter. Sometimes millimeters are important, but on every single watch, they wear different, right? 41 millimeter in AP wears a lot larger. 40 millimeter on a Daytona wears a lot smaller. So it's kind of like, all depends on the lug size, you know, how it flares out, the way they make the casing. I mean, Panerai, a 40 or 42 millimeter is almost considered like a, well, 40 millimeters is almost considered like a ladies. 42 millimeters like a smaller men's, almost like a 36 millimeter Datejust. And then the 44 millimeter is gonna be your average typical men's size, and then they're gonna have the larger ones, right? 47 millimeter, etc. So I always highly recommend, you know, if you wanna come in here, we have a ton of watches that you could try on, all different brands, all different case sizes. You could try them, feel them, see how you like them, or go to a store, you know, check it out. Or if you already know what the watches feel like, a lot of people that buy watches have already owned them, right? So they know what it feels like, they know what it is, they know how to buy it. But just because it's a certain millimeter does not mean that that's how it's gonna fit on your wrist. Now, you're probably gonna say, oh, we already did this, but this is gonna be your OG original Sea-Dweller. It is gonna be a 40 millimeter case size. It's gonna be thicker, and you're gonna have your gas escape valve right there. So I'll show you the difference between the sub ceramic. So you're gonna have your Submariner ceramic, and this is gonna be your older Sea-Dweller hollow bracelet. You're gonna be able to see the thickness between the two. This is much thinner. This is gonna be a lot thicker, but it's not over the top, right? When Rolex came out with their new Sea-Dweller, it was a huge change for them because they made the thickness of it so big that it shocked a lot of people, right? Now you're gonna have your pre-ceramic, so it is gonna be the insert right over here. You're gonna have your black dial, you're gonna have the date wheel over here, crown, Oyster bracelet. It's a 1991, and we are gonna be doing this one at 9,000 flat. And you know what? Let me actually show you guys the newer version Sea-Dweller. Give me a sec, I'll be right back. So you're gonna have 40 millimeter case size, you're gonna have a 44 millimeter case size. So this is gonna be like a dramatic difference, right? You're gonna have the ceramic inlay on this one, normal insert. They're both gonna be black dial, black bezel. The crowns are gonna be very similar. Obviously this is a lot bigger. It's gonna be smaller because of the case. Now look at the thickness that they did on it, right? They almost went like 2 to 2.5 times the thickness, and they made it much bigger. This was not normal for Rolex at that time to do, but you know, they did it, came out great, beautiful timepiece. I also wanna show you guys the 43 millimeter red writing Sea-Dweller. This was big for a lot of people, right? 44 millimeter case size is massive. And then, you know, with the Oyster bracelet over here. And then this is gonna be your 43 millimeter case size. So they went 1 millimeter size smaller, and they went a lot thinner as well. And then this is gonna be the OG, right? So you're gonna have 40 millimeter, 43 millimeter, you're gonna have the 44 millimeter. As promised, that's the 10 Rolexes, all under 10K. And I know I told you guys I would personally pick one. If it was me buying it, I would probably do the Explorer 2 in a white dial. I love the way the white pops out. I love the bezel. I like the fact that it's a 42 millimeter case size. And I think just a very comfortable wear, right? I would actually dress the watch up. I don't think it looks bad, you know, on an outfit like this. I think it's a good looking piece. With that, thanks for always watching. Thanks for the support. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know which one you would pick. And also, don't forget in the comments down below, if you want to see any other brands in the 5 to 10K range, let me know. We have a huge inventory. We have about 700 to 800 watches in stock at all times. So you let me know. I have all brands. I'll get it done for you.